patrimoine, heritage, preservation. These are terms that are used a lot in the renovation of old properties. They're often somewhat token, but it's different here in this setting. We're in the heart of a village, surrounded by neighbouring properties, historic buildings. In the town square, our immediate neighbours are the town hall and an ancient church, which makes this a unique location, unlike the majority of ski chalets. Some elements are immediately recognisable as alpine, but there's others which are much more akin to a traditional French townhouse, and that really makes it a very unique space. Everyone that stayed here has agreed it's unlike any other luxury ski chalet in the Alps. The original building here was one of the oldest properties in the village, probably in the valley. It dates back to 1749, so it's over a quarter of a century old. Preserving this was critical to the owners from the start. In fact, they arguably could have built any type of chalet anywhere, but the challenge of preserving the history and the setting of this place was one of the things that really appealed to them about this project, and it's one of the things that really makes the property magical now. Some of the most important features where you can really see this are the facade of the front building with the original shutters and some of the detailing around doors, windows and a magical inset balcony. All of this was entirely preserved and looks incredibly authentic to the original structure, and the balcony itself was rebuilt using the majority of the original timbers with local artisans matching pieces that were missing to preserve an identical effect. Inside the property, whilst of course there's huge elements which are new and very contemporary in design, the team have also tried to preserve as much of the original timber and structure as possible, and that really gives you warmth, character and history to the space that provides a comfort when you're inside. Even before renovation, this has obviously always been a very grand, prestigious property with a huge amount of space. And dealing with that volume, both exploiting it positively and also using it sensibly, was always going to be a key part of the design brief here. One of the first things that the team decided to tackle was to really expose that as soon as you walk through the front door. So you're immediately greeted by a huge staircase rising up through the building that's then open across 3 levels. And that immediately gives you a sense of grandeur and scale here, and it's impressive. So this gallery is probably one of the most impressive places in the building, and I think the connection it gives you throughout, you can see all the way down to the front door. You can see the swimming pool, which kind of just teases you down there and reminds you that there's this secret sanctuary waiting for you if you want to go and indulge. But then you've also got the theatre of the kitchen. You've got this huge oven range where the chef and the host will be preparing dinner, and again it just gives you that connection, and I think that's really the magic here. It kind of continues everywhere you look, because you have the main living area, the main living space. They've pushed up the roof beams here to give you this huge view. It's quite misty today, but it looks all the way up to Nantaux, which is one of the big peaks in the area. So you can kind of all come together here, but you've also got all these separate zones. So you could be reading a book, or a couple of people could be having a conversation by one fire at this end. There's a separate library tucked out of way where you could be sort of connected, but entirely on your own, entirely peaceful and private in your own space. You've got a sort of whiskey area or drinks lounge here, which you can kind of see, you know, perhaps a group of guys or a group of girls disappearing to catch up on the day's events and their skiing or hikes or whatever they've been up to. We've also got the pool table. You might have some sport on the TV. So I think here is a really good example of how the space has really been divided intelligently. You've got connection, you can all be together, but you can also be in your own private space. Something that the design team talked about here were layers, and I think we've obviously got different levels, but we've got the visual layers that are created by the glass walkways and this open void through the middle part of the building, which is very clever. It creates lots of areas of interest. This is the central space connecting two bedrooms, but they've very much taken inspiration from a sort of classic boudoir, which sort of originally meant like a withdrawing room, a sulking room. I don't know about sulking, but it's definitely a space that you can see if you were staying in the rooms here, you could definitely withdraw here. It's an area where you could be private with a book or just take some time out. And it's warm, it's comforting, it's got it's got that coziness that you'd expect of much smaller buildings in a way, but you've got all these pocketed zones like this which you don't necessarily expect in such a vast building. So the kitchen is, I think, more than anywhere else, it's like a stage and a theatre set. You've got this huge Nantaux range, which is sort of pride of place and a real theatre for the chefs to sort of show off what they're doing. And I think that's something that is very relevant here, but it's also really relevant to the experience of staying here and staying in a property like this, because it's not really designed to be, it is designed to be enjoyed with the luxury of a staff team looking after you and an incredible chef preparing food for you. So having that showcased is an integral part of it. It's part of that experience. I don't know, it's really, really luxurious and indulgent space. I mean, the pool is clearly pride of place, but I think that what makes the feel of the spa here special is that we are kind of hunkered down at the bottom of the building. We're kind of built back into the earth. We have got some light wells which let in natural light, which is really cool, but it gives it a real sense of tranquility down here. It's very, very peaceful. It's not, some swimming pools and spaces are I suppose they're best enjoyed almost as a party, a pool party type of atmosphere. And you could have multiple people in here laughing, but really it's a much more relaxing space, almost like a meditative space. And I think that's what makes the spa area here feel really special. So I think in terms of the experience of staying here, it's definitely a chalet that it's been designed to be run, it's been designed to be hosted, but it's also been designed to have life in it. When I think about the warmth and the privacy that some of the different zones and spaces create, that only really matters when you have the energy of other people around you as well. And it's at its best, I think, in here. The atmosphere comes alive when you're here with 11 other people, so there's 12 guests. You'd have a staffing team of 4 to 5 people in here at any one time. And that's when you've got that dynamic mix. You've got the peacefulness of the privacy in different zones, but you've also got that interaction through the different views and the different spaces that you have with both the team looking after you and the friends that you've come away on holiday with.